and pistachios. A young boy serves me for a pittance, but all I want is to be his father.
My grandfather stares at the boy. He can't be older than 14, 15, he thinks. The same age that Dieter is now. He hasn't seen his son since 42, when the boy was 7. The young waiter's eyes briefly meet the man's. He's one of them. The train from Russia stopped here, and these creatures, more skeletons than men, spill out onto the platform. They all are given something to eat and a bit of money. Many stop off in the cafe, sit here for hours, always by themselves, always wrapped into a silence that is as thick as a concrete wall. And many stare at him, just like this man, thinking of their sons, whom they no longer know, thinking of Sundays long gone. Solitude is independence. It had been my wish, and with the years I had attained it. It was cold, oh, cold enough. But it was also still, wonderfully still and vast, like the cold stillness of space in which the stars revolve.
The stillness that surrounds these tables now, the cool air of the terraces, the veranda, the lemon trees in the crisp late autumn of a much warmer climate, the blankets that wrap around them tighter than the silence, the bodies that long gave up craving for warmth, the man who is a grandfather to someone sitting here in the somewhere, looking at the pistachios in front of him, radishes long since eaten, with the aftertaste of Easter. A surprising calm, cut off from his own father, from his son, and unexpected freedom. Everything is possible now, even that he will eat the pistachios in the brisk, clear autumn afternoon, bright with the sun of another climate, looking out onto the sea that brings the view downhill to an abrupt end, sitting here on the terrace, waiting for the train to move on the next day. Released from closeness, the coldness of the resultant space soothing rather than annihilating. He didn't even have to get on that train tomorrow. He only wished he didn't name the boy Dieter, after his best friend at the time, German. The relation to the absolute into which she entered was fruitful for her.
A young woman is crossing the road, red lipstick, swinging hips. She's walking towards the tables. In the camp, they didn't talk much about women. The hunger devoured everything. He puts his last pistachio into his mouth. The woman has a beautiful smile, and she stops at his table. "May I?" she asks. It is not an image that I am seeking. It is not an idea. It is an emotion you want to recreate, an emotion of wanting, of giving, and of destroying.
He thinks of Elena, Dieter's mother, her violin playing, her pact with the absolute, the patterned dress she liked to wear, in this particular memory, the chunky cardigan worn over it. How she tried to live by the rules she created, or rather, the rules she intuited, and the effect each aberration on her part had on her, her anger. He thinks of Elena, Dieter's mother, her playing the violin, his approaching the flat, up the broad steps, circling around the mesh of the lift shaft, the gentleness of the rarest kind he felt walking up to the flat, a student after a violin practice passing him by. We are innocent and we have a very clean table.
He didn't understand her words, but he read her eyes. He nods. She sits down, opens her handbag, takes out a pack of cigarettes, lights one. He hasn't been that close to a woman for 8 years. He points to his bottle of beer. She closes her eyes slowly, then opens them again. He waves at the boy, lifting 2 fingers. She is younger than Elena was when they first met, probably only a couple of years older than the waiter, than Dieter. The boy approaches the table, and before he puts down the 2 bottles of beer and the fresh glasses, he wipes the surface clean. And I lift my glass to the awful truth which you can't reveal to the ears of youth, except to say it isn't worth a dime.
He asks for more radishes, and the boy brings them. He likes this country where they serve radishes with beer, but perhaps it is only the station for all he knows. He asks what her favorite word in German is. Fünf, Elena said when he first asked her this. The girl closes and opens her eyes again and says nothing. The boy waiter watches them, standing next to the cutlery stand. And from childhood on, the gift of seeing world the way the dying see it, things shining in the light of their imminent disappearance.
Most of them just want a hug, his sister says, and they fall asleep in her arms like little boys. If that happens, she only takes half of their money. Nothing is more real than nothing.
The boy waiter is looking at the man sitting at the front table, the table furthest away from him, in the row closest to the point where the view starts, the view across the road, across the low stone wall, and downhill to the mediocre sea. The view starts at the point where the terrace ends. The boy has established in the week spent at the spot where he stood right now. He is looking at the man and past the young woman next to him. And he is thinking of something else. He is thinking of this. He is thinking of the snow-eating machine he saw a few months back when visiting his uncle up north and deep inland. He stood mesmerized, watching it, as it ate snow and ate the snow. Its hunger for snow, ferocious and nocturnal, he thought, adding a poem he once read to the machine. Its component parts including, most prominently, a deep black conveyor belt. He had never encountered it, ferocious and nocturnal, before that evening. Despite visiting his uncle, his mother's brother, every winter ever since he was a little boy, bitterer winters even than the one most recently passed. Perhaps it was the one approaching he could smell on the breath of the sea yesterday that made him think of it, the hunger this machine had for the snow. That's how I feel today, the boy thought to himself, as he was looking at the man sat at the front table who just finished the second bowl of radishes he brought him.